Hello and welcome. So this is a new Truth About Parenting video, and this is about how would I address divorce and new romantic relationships with my son and other children that I plan to have. For me, going on when my parents got divorced and when I ended the 19 years of marriage, because you want it to end on good terms, and that was my aim. It wasn't to kind of put a bullet in that person's chest. It was because we both knew that it wasn't working, but one of us had to make a step forward to address it, and I did. I did not do it as if to say, well, I've left you now, I don't want to know. It may have been perceived that way, but it wasn't meant. But honestly, I did not do it that way. I did speak to the person that I was married to about, that it wasn't working, that we were like roommates, living in a house, like two single people that happened to have a child, and I just wasn't happy, and I was made to feel bad for doing that. But you can't help the way you feel. If you know a relationship isn't working, then you need to address it, because it just gets either you end up resenting each other, and the children, if you've got children, it can put them put them stuck in the middle, and they're confused. So one thing I do is I like to write my son letters, and I haven't done that for a while, but I'm going to, because I want to keep him informed with love about things that have happened, and I'm going to do that today. I have been meaning to do it, but with all the other things, and I've forgotten about it. It's just that I sort of want to do these types of things as well, and you can only do so much, but I do want to write another letter to Henry, talking about the things that have gone on, because I do think that he should know, why, because I did try and explain to him that, Mum might have to move out at some point, and I didn't know whether I would be able to take him with me, but I did want to sort of walk out and him not knowing where I was, because I just think that would break his heart, and I wouldn't live with myself if I did that. And when I left the relationship I was in, he came with me, but then other people got involved, and now I don't see my son that often now, because I was perceived, because I ended the relationship, to be the bad one in it all. I mean, we all knew the truth, what was going on, but nobody wanted to tell me the truth of what was going on. So one thing I would say is, don't shy away from the topic. Address it, and think about how, if your kids haven't asked about it yet, or looking a little bit anxious, kids can sense when there is when there is tension in the air. They can sense it, and they will. And Henry has a certain look that he has when I know he's feeling a little bit anxious and a little bit worried. So I would cuddle him and reassure him that I loved him out of this world, but things were on the horizon to change, And I got to say, out of all of it, me and my son now are closer than ever, And I think it's because we know that there's people that have put a wedge between me and him, but the bond that we have will never ever be destroyed, because we have you kind of have a secret connection with them that only you and they know about, and he loves watching quiz shows with me. When it came to toilet training, it was me who he always wanted to go with him to toilet training, but I didn't want him to fear going to the toilet. But the person that were also involved was making him feel very, very bad about going to the toilet, and it's the worst thing you can do. Don't use your kids in a way that just in a way that they feel inadequate, or they're doing, when it comes to toilet training and things like that, you need to make them feel comfortable about doing it, not making it into a big issue. And I think that we did, and I do feel bad about that, because as soon as you make it into a big issue, they get very anxious and get very worried. And Henry was doing this. I don't know if you've experienced it as well, where he was purposely wetting the bed. And now I look back on that and I do feel terrible about it. He was trying to tell us that he did not feel safe being in that room on his own and wanted to be with us. But I kind of have a fear of co-sleeping. We often used to watch TV, so what I started to do is, have him watch TV in bed with me sometimes, and we would, be lying there, happy, not often cuddling up because Henry likes his space, so he just liked me being there to sit with him to watch TV that we both enjoyed, and then he would peacefully go to sleep without an issue. And now I look at it, it was him saying, no, I don't want to be in the room on my own. I want to be with you, because I know things are changing here. You want me to use the toilet, but there's someone here that is making them feel awful about not using the toilet, and that's one thing you need to stay clear of. Don't make your children feel dreadful because they haven't got the skill of using the toilet yet. The more of an issue you make it to be, the more difficult it becomes for them, because they see it as, like, instead of it being like a minute thing, they see it like that. Once they see it like that, that puts a fear in hell of them. That makes them think, oh God, I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet, if that's the case. So, the one thing that I would say when it comes to divorce and a relationship, expect your children to feel the tension and feel the change, and help them through the change. Reassure them that they are loved, but mum and dad are now not going to be together, but you can still see each other. Now, if it comes to a case where a parent is discovered of abusing the child, then it's different, and that is where you need to step in and say, right, there's something going on here. No one is saying anything, but you know it. And I would speak to the child, and that is kind of like what I would do when working in the nursery setting. When they're doing Play-Doh and things like that, that is the best time to chat with them. Not necessarily about abuse or anything like that, but just talk to them. They just sometimes just like you being there as a authoritative person and someone that they can talk to. And if you fear that child is being abused in some way, chat to them. But you don't have to say, "Are you being abused?" Don't you say that. You say it as an if to say, "Are you happy at home? Are you what? Do you watch TV at home? Do you watch TV indoors? Do you just getting to know them and saying, oh, do you like playing with Play-Doh? Do you play this at home? Because and it's a good thing to do. Do you have brothers and sisters? And are they happy? That sort of thing. You don't have to antagonise a child, but just chatting with them and saying, when when your mum and dad pick you up, are you happy when you see them? And it's things like that, and it's not antagonising. It's just asking if they're okay, because sometimes you can always tell kids are extra vulnerable by the fact that they just like you being there. Not necessarily to talk to you all the time, but being there. And often they will talk to you rather than you talk to them. You don't have to make it, again, don't make it into too much of an issue. And don't kind of like ask 20 questions. Just chatting is a lot more effective than saying, "Is your mum and dad doing this and that and the other? Are you being abused?" Because then it makes a kid go. I don't know if I'm really. I don't know if I want to share this with you. You know, um, and they, when you. I always knew that when I could trust somebody, when they would just be there, and that's what I've done. Just being there, not exactly talking to you about it, but seeing that I know what's going on, and I'm here if you want to cuddle. And my son knows that, and it's like a secret code. Um, and like if you're the parent, if you're being set upon as a parent, but you do get in some rights of still picking them up from school, just spend time just chatting, and just saying, when you're, when you're with your dad, does he have any other friends that you get to see, you know, and it's kind of saying, I know there's something going on, but I'm not gonna make your life a misery, or make it worse for you. I just want to know, are you happy? If something's going on, and it's certain things that can be said, that you can pick up on, that if they are being hurt in any way. And when it comes to divorce and separation and meeting new partners, it can really unsettle them. And now my parents divorced when we were older. They did split when we were kids, but they got back together. But I'm not saying I'm clairvoyant in any way, but I do see things before they happen. I don't know, maybe because I can read what's going to happen, by certain people's actions. But I knew that mum and dad were getting to the point where they were driving each other bonkers. And my dad did love my mum, and that's why he didn't walk out. He did the first time, but when it came to head, it was my mum who made the choice that she didn't want to be married to dad anymore. And it does, as even don't matter what age you are, if you're children stuck in that kind of situation. And I never held it against for doing that. I understand that relationships don't always work out, and uh, however much my dad sniped at my mum, I knew he would still want to try and keep it going. But if the other person does not feel happy, then you do have to let it go. But remember your kids. Don't forget about them when you are separating from their what they knew to be their father. Because obviously they now a lot of the time can be with their real dad. And you can tell the difference between someone who is very much a happy child with that parent, whether it's a step parent or biological one, by the way your child reacts. I feel bad in saying this, but at the time, because my dad was quite strict and my mum wasn't, I did used to feel my heart would drop when my dad used to pick me up from the nans. And I can't understand why I did that, because it wasn't as though my dad made it a nightmare. I would get some exercise when he used to, because we used to walk home a lot of the time. We would rarely ever get the bus or the train back. We would walk. Because my dad was a walker. My dad would walk all the way from Oxford Street to Hammersmith. He did it all the time. And I find that I'm exactly the same. If I can walk somewhere and I know how to get there on foot, then I will do it. But yeah, I did. When my dad used to pick me up from there, my heart used to drop. And I still can't work out why that was, because at the two, I do feel, even though my dad's passed away, and that I'm a lot closer to him now. than when he was alive, because I didn't get that chance to say goodbye or, make amends, because we did kind of have a bit of a fallout when, you know, um, I didn't see him again, or I didn't see him at all, and it was, from when he died, it was about 12 or 13 years ago, that I saw him last, Um, and, with kids, you've got to address the issue, and don't, and you just need to make sure, because they will feel very, very kind of, that's when they can really suffer with separation anxiety, because they know that things are changing. That's why it's good to talk to them, no matter how old they are, to talk to them about, things are changing, but don't worry, we both love you, And if it's discovered that a parent is not loving that child, uh, really, then that means that they need to be taken out of their life, because that will screw their head up. And I'm not going to have my son head screwed up because of other selfish people who's tried to put a wedge between me and him, and you'll find that, but sometimes, and if there are mums or dads who are feeling the same way, in that case, then, just keep fighting, because I know that I will be with my son again, full time, and I know that we are bonding a lot more now than we've ever done, and that bothers people who have tried to intervene, and it hasn't worked, and they know it hasn't worked because of the way they're still trying to attack, but they're running out of steam now, And if you want to check out my live coaching videos that I've uploaded, you'll see I talk a lot about that. And when it comes to separation and divorce, a lot of factors come into play. Never ever insult the other parent in front of you, or in front of your child, but just ask them in a tactful way, if they are being hurt in any way, don't use your kids to point score or as a weapon, against other child, because I've experienced that and it's not nice at all. All I wanted was the truth of what was going on. I wasn't in the means of that I wanted to insult or cause harm. I just wanted to be told the truth, And that's why I'm doing these videos, because you may be a parent who may be stuck in a relationship which is not working, but you know that you don't want to leave that child behind, and you're stuck where you feel like, what can I do to end this? And what I would say is, if you've got a spare room, sleep in there, but make it clear to that partner that you don't want to be with them anymore. You're staying here for the child, for your child, and that you don't want to see any harm against them. But we aren't together. I don't want to be with you now. But don't use it against that child, because when they do, it causes a lot of friction, and the person who's trying to be caring at the same time is the one that always ends up getting targeted, because we've got it back the right way. And a lot of time you get where partners' ego feels like their ego's been hit when they didn't like the fact that you ended it and they didn't. That's not my problem. That is not my problem. It's not my problem. I was honest, and I was very, very, I did, send him text messages, but it wasn't to lash out. It was for him and other people that knew what was going on to tell me the truth. And that's all I was asking, is to be told the truth of what was going on. And I know they probably think I'm talking ridiculous now, but that's up to them. I've had a lot of things held against me, a lot, but it's made me stronger and see that I'm not the bad one in this. I just wanted to be a mum who loved a son, but was not happy in a relationship. I knew that other things were going on, and I just wanted somebody to tell me the truth. And that's what you need to do with your kids. Tell them the truth. Don't shy away from it. tell them the truth, and that is how you deal with divorce and new romantic relationships. No, no, don't cover over anything, because kids will find out in the end, and when they do, it can hurt worse than if they're not told when it's happening, you know, as it's happening, you know. So yes, I hope this helped you in some way, and I wish you good luck. Stay strong, stay safe, be smart, be kind, and let's work together to support each other as parents and fight against those who parent shame and, you know, use kids against you, because they will all the cracks in them will always form on the surface at some point. So just keep fight the fire. I know it's kind of like, I don't really want to be doing this. You know, I'm not getting no joy out of, you know, this at all. It's just that, you know, there's people who want to play games and people that want to hold things against you, and you're just saying that I do not talk rubbish. I do speak the truth, and that's what hurts them. They know that you tell the truth, and they don't. So they live in a world of lying and deceit, and they're the ones that are going to end up on their own, and they won't be able to take it. So, many thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.